Okay, this is my productivity app about my app that helps me deal with the issue that I found in my calendar lock behind me. Okay, so first slide. So when I was logging my activities in my daily calendar and seeing my time management throughout the day, I noticed I had three problems and they each stemmed off from one issue. So starting at the first one, a lot of extra time. You'll see pictures that's further down in my slideshow, but throughout my classes, like I had big gaps and big chunks of just free time that I didn't know what to do. So the way that I figured out of trying to keep myself busy in those times was to just assign large blocks of me doing my homework. So it would be 3 continuous hours of just doing homework or studying or whatever it was. That that's just not realistic for me. So I ended up doing other things. So moving into my second point, pushing things until later. This ties in with the first one because with the amount of time that I had, I thought that I had more than enough time to do what I had to do. So I would just push them off until later and do other things instead. And that ties into my third point with prioritizing less important things over others. That is a direct thing from the second one because I would just do other things instead of my homework or my studying or whatever I had to do because of how much time I had. And that eventually led me to having an issue with procrastination. So an example of this is directly from my calendar, and you can see the big blocks of red, and then the white empty times in between classes. You can see that it's 2 or 3, 4 hours of me saying that I have that time like directly for studying or school stuff, and that didn't happen because that's unrealistic since I had to sit down for an extended period of time. And that would eventually lead me to doing other things instead because I thought I had more than enough time to do what I had to do. And it just led me to procrastinate even more. And so it became an even bigger of an issue. So since we had to find an app, this is the app that I found. This app is Evernote. And four things that I really wanted to emphasize when I was looking for apps was the four that I mentioned here. And moving to the first one, note taking. This is really important to me because I throughout my day, like if I find out that I have to do something and I have a due date for it, I right away write it down somewhere. And that's really useful to me because I won't forget it instead of trying to just remember it in my head. And the second point is a built-in calendar. Um, this is really useful because at least an Evernote feature is just like how you can transfer from Canvas to your actual Google Calendar. It has the same function, so I was able to just directly plug into my Google Calendar to my Evernote. So that allowed it to just be a nice, easy place to have all the places that all the things that I need in one place. And the third point being syncing with my emails. This is really important to me because I'll get emails about whether it's something going on at ASU or scholarship information or even stuff like extracurriculars. That's something that I usually have to go to my email and then manually input to my calendar or whatever I track my daily activities with. But with Evernote, there's a function that you can sync it with your email. So I have it synced with my personal on my ASU email. And whenever I get an email that it believes has a time constraint, it'll email me asking if I want to directly input that to my Evernote. And by clicking yes, Evernote will do it all for me. And once I get onto Evernote, it'll add it to my calendar. So if I got an email about, I don't know, a football game this Saturday, an ASU football game, it'll say if I want to add that to my calendar, and if I click yes, it'll automatically be reflected on my calendar that I have something to do with being that football game on that particular day. And the fourth point being that it's available on all platforms. This is something that I valued because if I'm not able to be on my computer or if I'm just not at the dorm, I can always log into Evernote on my phone and vice versa. And this is important because no matter where you are, you can always have access to your daily activities. And in this situation, you always have access to Evernote. So this is a video demonstration of how I use Evernote. Okay. So that was the app demonstration. Now that you got a feel of the actual the app and how I use it for myself, you can kind of see if it would be something that you would like to use it for, if it helps your procrastination issues or whatever you realize that you had after your calendar log. So now I'm moving to evaluating the app. So these are, in my opinion, these are the pros that I like. So it's similar to the slide in the first few slides in the presentation. The pros that I saw was that there's several utilities to track your tasks. So as you saw in the video, there's a task and then there's an event button and there's even like an email syncing button. That's just a lot of tools that Evernote has at your disposal to do whatever you have to do to make sure you're on top of what you have to do. And like I mentioned, quick link to email. It's a very good tool because your email's in one spot. You don't have to go to a separate place to see what you got emails for. Or like if you had an important email you thought you missed, it would be in Evernote. And then the third one is live notifications when tasks are due. So whenever there's like a task due at like midnight, like most assignments are, it'll email you an hour or whatever your setting is, 1 hour, 3 hours, 5 hours before to make sure you know that that's due and to make sure you realize you got it done or not. And then, like I said, it's available on multiple areas. So it's not just exclusive to your phone or to your computer. It's on Apple's, Windows, Android, whatever you have, you can use Evernote. And then the cons that I found is that, like I mentioned in the video, I was showing how to use the free version, but there's also a premium version which gives you like full access to each feature. But for at least for me personally, it works good because I don't really find the need to have mo like that many. The premium feature doesn't really like intrigue me to buy it. So, and if someone was interested in it, it comes out to $52 a year, and it breaks down to about $4.33 a month. So it is pretty pricey for the premium feature, but like I said, you can get by just fine with the free version. And then similar to that, sometimes ads pop up depending on like the settings you have on your computer. If you don't have an ad blocker, ads may pop up, but it's a quick little, you press the X button and then you can be on your way without the ad. So moving on, similar apps that are similar to Evernote or OneNote. OneNote is one that I've used before, and I like Evernote above it because OneNote is strictly like a note-taking app, whereas Evernote can be used for more than just note-taking, where you can use it to track your day and even your calendar syncs to it, and other stuff that OneNote does not have. And then Google Keep, same thing with, with OneNote, it's just note-taking, and it's like it's it's not just exclusive to taking notes. And then Notion and Simple Note, those I prefer Evernote over because it's just something that I found with Evernote having all the multiple features like the email and the calendar is just Evernote wins me over these four apps. And in conclusion, Evernote has helped me with my issue of procrastination through the various features. Like I said, they proved to be very useful to me because they just made me it gives me a bunch of resources at my disposal that I can just make sure I'm on top of my stuff. And I didn't find too many downsides to it, but the ones that I did find was that there's a feature to upgrade, and if an app has a feature to upgrade, it's always going to try to push you to buy it. So that's why the ads pop up, but that's something that you get used to once you use the app for a little bit. So that's the end of my presentation, and Evernote is the app that I found to help with my procrastination issue, and hopefully it can help you too.